Need help with your swing? Get an online lesson from Wayne at wdglc.com.
Hey there everybody, Wayne D here, and it's the day after the Open. Webb Simpson's the winner. These are some swings that I had of his since I haven't been able to get to the DVR of the telecast yet. I wanted to go over his swing a little bit for you so it would be fresh, because it's pretty awesome. And if you want to find somebody that does a ton of the stuff that we talk about here on the website, these are this is the stuff that I prefer in the swing, a lot of it that Simpson does. And let's go to the videotape, take a look at it. Something that he does a little bit of, some of these camera angles are a little off, but you can see here that at least in this drive the shaft is a little bit below his hands, and then when it gets to where his left arm is parallel, you'll find the shaft fairly flat up there. So a couple of differences there. You'll see in the swing over here from the front, you'll see a slight bit of lowering, not a lot, but certainly not lifting. So we'll call that pretty level. Camera might be moving a little bit there. And then you'll see in the forward swing the work into the ground, and then you see the head go backwards a little bit and down through the ball. So different things. Now a lot of it is due to his right leg action. So if we take a look at that, this is something I just picked up on. I was watching the initial movement forward and noticing how his right leg stayed more in place. Now most of the people that I teach, and I see this sometimes, and they do this. For example, if you look at Hogan, he's going to be in transition. He's going to drive himself out of this right leg position. So when you watch Simpson, watch right there. See that transition? Look at him lag that club. And his leg really doesn't move that much. So the interesting thing, and it's something I just picked up on because I hadn't really noticed it before, is that when he starts forward, his right heel moves toward the target. Now that is different.
Learn the pivot compression golf swing. Join wdglc.com today.
Right here. See, that is an interesting move. I don't know if I've ever seen that. I'm going to have to go back over some videos and see if I find anyone else doing that. I mean, you'll see the foot roll up into the ball of the foot and go inward, but usually the lower right leg is moving by then. So again, you can see in transition this doesn't move. Now if I'm teaching someone, I'm trying to get them to move that leg, because I just see all sorts of bad things happen when that goes on. But watch where Simpson's hands go from the top of the swing. Look at that first move. Look at that. That's pretty cool. So as you watch the forward swing start here, to just watch that right arm and watch it move around and forward so that the upper right arm advances in relation to the chest. So in other words, the upper right arm is not staying with the chest, it's advancing. When you watch it from the front view, you'll note the appearance. See, there's a tiny little bit of the right arm showing right around right here. But watch what happens. Whoa. So, the hands are coming out. The upper right arm is moving to get itself in front of the body. Now, again, what's unique about this swing is that if you're trying to figure out where that movement is coming from, so we're seeing lateral hip movement here. Here's the hips, there's the head. So certainly the head's not moving. If we're looking for sequence, you can see right about there, you can see a push. But what's interesting is the movement really is not the way I describe it as coming from the inside of the right foot and from the ground. It's really coming more from a twist with the midsection. And if you thought that he was going to just spin, if we draw that first hip position here, we'll see that the hips make it, nicely over laterally there. It's not like they're stale. Now he's got a nice strong grip, so when he cups that wrist up there, man, he really gets some wrist cock. But he's so wide, especially with the irons. I mean, his left arm is so straight that he keeps his hands way out to the side of him, and that right arm action is so good that it really brings him down. Look how the shaft, here's the shaft, look how it stays up above his forearm. Now somebody made a comment that it looked like his shoulders were out racing his hips right after impact, and here you can kind of see why. Not that that's the case, it actually eventually is the case. Well, that's the point. Of course, the hips are leading nicely. This camera angle is a little bit off here, so he squares his legs probably around here. So later than some guys, but so most, my preference is to have the hips squared up now. It's going to take him another couple clicks, so his arm's down a little bit, but his shaft is in perfect shape, and when he goes into the ball, watch his right leg suck up and into the left, and the left snaps great. Look at that footwork. So that's pretty awesome. But then, what I think is really, really neat is that right heel coming in, which means he's using that right leg. He's twisting it and driving it inward first, while the club comes out. So you might think that if you're watching this from the front view, you might think that he was dropping his hands with that right leg staying like that and driving inward. But that's obviously not the case when you look at it from here. Look how his hands come out, like way out, right there. What some guys would describe as a little over-the-top move, but of course it's not. It's anything but. So a tremendous amount of delay. And you can see he really gets the club somewhat leaning forward here at impact, which is kind of a a throwback way to hit the driver. Hogan's leaning the club forward at impact. Most of these guys are trying to hit up on it, but that's definitely not hitting up on it right there. But he's got a great line if he gets the right driver in his hand, which obviously he's got. He's going to hit bullets out there. So about the shoulders overtaking, it's a tremendous amount of upper body rotation. Just a real free move of the left side. You can see that the left forearm gets all the way to vertical here as opposed to looking up to the right. So full release of the left side. You can see the left leg snap. So a lot of times when you see this kind of leg action, you'll see the heels come popping up because guys aren't deep enough. But Simpson is way back there, because you can just see if that right heel is driving inward, there's no way he's jumping up off that leg. So he's kind of a head down follow through guy. Kind of the way I was brought up. I would rather I'd rather watch or turn my head a little bit sooner than that, but he's got that little drop coming through the ball, but it really helps him suck his hips back and keep his depth. So with that right leg kind of quietly on the ground, I think that right foot action is one of the reasons why you see where it looks like the hips are now less rotated than the shoulders. But in the end, he straightens that leg and he comes around to a nice finish. So here's an iron shot, and there's the strong grip. Look how wide his hands are. I think that's another thing that you see in his swing that I teach a lot, and that's how to catch the club as the hands move away from the head. So he's got a lot of that, what I would call right arm extensor action, which means that as the club goes back, the right palm is pushing into the left thumb as the wrists are cocking, and that pulls the left arm out straight. So in essence, the right arm is trying to straighten the left. Look how nicely that right arm comes in there. Nice position, hands right over the leg, club coming in late. And while this is a little bit on the blurry side, you can see right there, look at that. That's how you hit the ball. Another left moving finish there. So, ton of stuff that I really like in the swing. And, not every swing that I think is really nice is going to mirror exactly what I talk about, Nobody's is. It's a style game, everybody's got their deal. But certainly, the key elements here: control of the shaft, depth in the hips, exiting left. Nothing in to out, nothing stuck. Just good stuff, Webb Simpson.